Yujiro Hamna and Andrew Tate have the same philosophy on life. I was writing my video on why Yujiro was a great dad, and it hit me. I've seen these patterns somewhere, and it was basically all the hype I'd heard about Andrew Tate. So this will be a sarcastic TED Talk for profit on how I came to that conclusion. Flexing so people can fall in love with your demon-back eyes is peak physical condition to these guys. Approximately 99.99% of their identity. Then the 0.1% is the brain. Look, if Yujiro Hamna was a real person, he'd probably be wanted in many states, countries, stars, galaxy, but also have his own line of supplements. This is a man who swims butterfly style in high currents while smiling like he just had on his new veneers. He jumps out of planes without parachutes and survives, something that only Kaido, the strongest creature, did once. So he too is one of the strongest creature in anime. Now we have Andrew Tate, the same specimen, but still a 4-time kickboxing world champion. And let's be real, there are more or less about a dozen other people with enough concussions to claim that. So yeah, if you're not sweating at the gym, you're basically a potato to these guys. Physical strength to them isn't just about looking good in their speedos. It's a manifestation of their discipline, resolve, and indubitably their small egos, which they've got to feed by fighting. And fighting isn't a hobby, it is a lifestyle. They need it as much as they need
air. Breathe air.
Yujiro's idea of a Sunday afternoon is beating America, and Tate, the guy got his kick by literally kicking people's faces and getting world titles for it. Really, these two knucklecrackers fighting isn't just physical, it's spiritual. It's as essential to them as a morning cup of coffee for the rest of us mere mortals. Physicality is just the tip of the iceberg for these two, because as much as they love to flex their muscles, they flex their strong opinions too. This is really the place where the rubber meets the road. Or rather, the knuckle meets the jaw. We are diving deep into their minds. Brutal truth trumps comforting lies. Always. Because for both Yujiro and Tate, they'd rather slap you with the reality.
You're broke! You're fucking poor! I'm glad I was broke when I was young.
Yujiro telling Baki that kindness and affection are for the weak is like telling a fish water is wet, and it just sits there like a cat that pays the bill in the house. And Tate, the guy is so brutally honest that he probably thinks white lies are Caucasian lying about things. Seriously, he's never even mentioned the word affection on his Twitter. I think there must be no affection in his Bugatti.
Some people said they don't like it, and I said, well, what color's your Bugatti?
So if you're living in a candy-colored world with a veil on your eyes, blocking you from seeing the code of the Matrix, according to TATE, yes, I named him TATE, don't say anything, you're not in their leagues. They only deal in hard, cold, popsicle-sucking truth. And controversy is a byproduct of that. It's really the goal for them. In their view, if you're not polarizing, you're not a real man. I mean, we all know Yujiro doesn't care what people think of him. He's been slapping people left and right and actually unaliving them. So he's more concerned about showing off his back and creeping on Baki. While Tate, let's just say that if he had $1 for every time he offended someone, he would have enough money to pay off all of his hops and stop global warming, sarcastically. They both believe that if you're not a strong rod magnet with strong poles, hard pause on the hard pause. Anyways, basically you're a pile of iron shaving, useless and easily manipulated. And also for them, mental toughness isn't an option, it's a requirement. It's suck it up or get out of their way. Yujiro is so tough, he doesn't even need to speak. He just levitates his hair and people start fighting instinctively to avoid telling him no. Like during the Pickle arc, a whole government army base bent to their knee just to make sure that he wasn't mad. Meanwhile, Tate, not shy about sharing his nuggets of wisdom like, weakness is a choice, resist the slave mind. That was a good Tate, right? Which is kind of like saying, alright bro Key, what color is your Bukai? But, you know, you get the drift. So you won't really find these guys attending a Sunday men's retreat anytime soon. Really, they're too busy being hard and staying hard. Hard pause. Alright, so now that we get that they're not just about biceps and bank accounts, what about the family unit, huh? Could they be called Father of the Year? And if you want to know that for Daddy Yujiro, what? I just called him Daddy. That's, whoa. Hard pause. Watch my other video. It's right there. Anyways, we are about to dive into the treacherous waters of family values. And before you attack me, hear me out. In their world, domination isn't just a term. It's a relationship status. They believe women crave strong, dominant, ooga booga man. I mean, when Yujiro first met Baki's mom, he was so masculine that some of his only words to her were, "Give birth to my child," and she went for it. And Tate, I quote, "I have women who respect me, but really hate me, but still show up every time I call." And that, my friend, is peak masculinity. Peak. Because clearly both of them believed that Cinderella was waiting for a guy to fly down with no parachute or roll up in a Bugatti, but not a pumpkin carriage. And what about the idea of being a stay-at-home dad, or at least being there as a dad? Really, forget that idea. Legends belong in the world, not confined in the living room to these guys. Yujiro left Baki's mom with the Herculean task to raising a son that could eventually beat him. The guy who stops earthquake with a punch. I'm not gonna let that one go. But then he's the same guy who ran on a milk run for 13 years, only showing up randomly to remind him that you can't beat me, dog. According to Tate, also, dads don't need to be there to babysit. They need to be emperor conquering empires and showing up once a month to instill fear and lessons into the child until they turn 18 and they start wanting Bugattis. So why does this matter? In their world, quality time equals teaching your kid how to slap the skin off someone's face, but tell them not to ever do it, or how to properly smoke a cigar while winning a world championship in chess. So really, bedtime stories are for losers. And it's clearly not about possessions or wealth. It's about the wisdom that the father figure imparts, life lessons over luxuries. Every time. For example, Yujiro, the guy who lives in the mansion with his own cascade for a pool, takes time to teach Baki and Jack life skills like biting and not slapping people, but leaves them to live in shacks to forge their character. And Tate, I quote, would rather challenge his son to Mortal Kombat if he turns out to be a nerd. Personally, I'd take the Mortal Kombat. These two really are in sync. They might as well be the same person living parallel lives in different universes. And I am surprised no one made a tech talk about this. Thanks for watching. Alright, bye.